This has to be the most gorgeous look I have seen on Zendaya to date. Girl, and obviously that means I need it on me. Foundation and brows are done. I went in with my Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation and it looks naturally stunning. I really do want a brighter inner corner to tie in that dramatic pop of white that we're gonna lay on our eyes. So I'm gonna take my NARS concealer in the shade Nougatine and I'm gonna apply that on the inner corners going down a little bit. And I'm just gonna let that sit and soak in. For the rest of the concealer around the face, I'm taking my Hourglass Vanish Concealer in the shade Dune, and I'm gonna apply that to the forehead, chin, outer under eye going up, and around my nose. Also applying a little bit of the Natasha Denona Pink Concealer in the shade B2. This is going in between those two shades. First, blending out everything but the under eyes. Now blending out the outer under eye before the inner under eye. Bleeding that onto the lid a little bit, even though we are gonna go in with an eyeshadow primer. This is my Fenty Beauty Sunstalker Souffle in the shade Maple Glaze 04. Starting from the back part of my face all the way down, and I'm kind of gonna cut right here because Zendaya does have pretty strong features, if I do say so myself. Taking the side of the beauty blender that I used to blend out my concealer, and I'm just gonna kind of go underneath where we just did our cream bronzer, just to make it look like it's more sculpted out. I only do this when I do like red carpet looks because I feel like it's too strong for just a day-to-day wearable look, in my opinion. Now I can't tell if she has a pinky blush on or a peachy pinky blush, so I'm gonna take my blush that gives both of those colors. This is my NARS The Multiples blush stick in the shade Hot Take. I'm just gonna take straight from the blush stick on this small little focus brush, and I'm gonna apply on the high points, bleeding onto the cheeks, or the apples, I should say, just a little bit, but keeping it mainly focused right here in that high point. I'm gonna take my beauty blender and just tap over that so it all blends seamlessly. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that Natasha Denona concealer just to kind of bring back some of that brightness that was lost when we put that powerful blush on the cheek. Okay, I'm very happy with the way that this base came out, so I want to hurry up and lock that in with powder. Starting off by locking everything in with a translucent press powder. This one's from NARS, and I'm just going to press this in the T-zone of my face, which is right here first. I pretty much do these same steps every day before taking my powder brush with that same powder and lightly setting the remainder of the face. And then I have my One Size Stage White powder. This is a very white pressed powder, and I'm gonna put that on the inner under eye because once again, when we do eyeshadow, we're gonna add white right there. So I just want to set the mood by brightening that up. And now it's time to bake with my translucent Laura Mercier loose powder. I'm gonna go up the side of the face. Looking at Zendaya's makeup, you can kind of see where they left the bake on there and it made it like kind of strong and pulled up. So I am gonna let this cook a little longer than I would if I wasn't doing red carpet makeup. So we're gonna let this sit for about 2 minutes, much longer than I would usually let it sit. And while I'm letting that cook, I'm going with my Makeup by Mario bronzer in the shade Medium Dark. And I'm just gonna bronze my forehead, basically everywhere we added our cream bronzer. Had to take a little break because I heard some commotion going on and I got the World Cup on. Looking pretty good. We just need to add some dimension, so I'm adding some powder blush. The One Size Cheek Clapper in the shade Attention Seeker. Just taking this middle powder shade, and I'm just gonna add this on the highest points of my apples. And I believe she did use this exact highlighter. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury Unreal Highlighter in Glazed Goddess. I'm gonna add this on the high points of the cheeks. Look how stunning red carpet that looks. Analyzing her makeup a little bit more, I do notice that it is brighter over here as well, so I'm going back in with that, ooh, I almost dropped her, that Stage White powder, and I'm gonna drag that up the side of the face just a little. Base is for the most part done, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover my eyes and set with this waterproof One Size On Till Dawn. Priming with P. Louise towards the back end of the eyes only. Lids are primed. Now this is very optional. If you do happen to have a white eye base on hand, I would take that just a little bit, and I'm gonna pop that with a small eyeshadow brush on the inner corner of the eye, kind of dragging up and kind of spreading down a little bit. Now that we have kind of a rough sketch, let's go in with the actual eyeshadow powder. Okay, I just looked at the makeup deets. Okay, Charlotte Tilbury, all Charlotte Tilbury. We don't have the exact products that she used, so we're just gonna make do. This is my Morphe Gold Seeker Artistry palette. I'm gonna take the shade Sense and Sensibility with a fluffy brush, and I'm just gonna start flicking this outwards, and I'm doing this on the outer third of the lid, kind of stopping right before we meet that white that we put down. I wanna use flicking motions because this red carpet makeup is soft but dramatic at the same time. All right, it is now time to go in with our whites. I have my Patrick Cha palette right here, and I'm gonna go in with the shade. I'm just gonna go ahead and press this into the inner corner, and I'm going to blend downwards and upwards, just kind of causing like a little C shape. We have a little bit of lid space right here untouched by any shadow. I'm gonna spread that white on that lid. So it does go under this inner corner a little bit. Going in with the second coat of that white just right here on the inner corner, which is the brightest part of the inner eye. It looks something like that, and that looks beautiful. I'm gonna take my powder puff and kind of flatten out this area so that it doesn't look like it just stops, it kind of bleeds. All right, now I'm gonna take a more focused brush, taking that same brown we used at first, And I'm gonna go in front of that white just a little bit to kind of shorten this white that we put on, because Zendaya's eyes are a little smaller than my lid space. So I kind of want to cut down on that white just a little bit with that brown. And I will kind of use this brown to then bleed into my nose bronzer. And if you guys can't tell from my background, we are in Hawaii right now. Beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, look how good that looks. We have an issue. I can't tell if she has a little bit of silver right here or if I'm just making things up. Silver can't hurt nobody, okay? I'm taking my Pat McGrath Luminous Legends palette, and this shade right here looks perfect. I'm literally gonna take the smallest amount. I'm gonna add that right here towards my waterline, just like that. Like, that looks stunning. Going in with a black liquid liner, this one's from Rare Beauty. I'm going to line my lash line very thin with the smallest flick of a wing, just like that. I'm gonna connect it all the way to the tear duct. All right, mini wings are done. Now I'm taking this darker shade from that same palette. Which one should I go in with? I think I'm gonna take this one at first in the shade Fancy That. The inner cat eye is powder, I can tell. So I'm going to, okay, no, we need darker. Taking Dark Money. I'm gonna make that inner wing that goes down and deepens her inner corner, that bleeds onto her lower waterline. And that is just gonna deepen and add everything that it needed to add. Wiping off that brush we used before, and I'm going in with that shade Lighter. And she has a subtle lower lash shadow action going, but it stops before it hits the white. I don't believe there's anything on her waterline, so we're gonna leave it blank, and we're just gonna add some mascara to the top and bottom lashes. The MAC Stack. Beautiful lashes. Okay, now Zendaya's lashes are very specific in this look, and I don't think I have the one she used. I do have these ones that I found like on some random website. These are the Faux India DIY lashes. Here's a picture. I'm just gonna pop these on where I see fit, and I'm gonna show you what the result looks like. Here's the lashes on. They're kind of slanted outwards. That's just the shape. It's like a foxy lash. It's not like straight up like how Zendaya's were, but I feel like it gives like the same like whimsical effect. Let's quickly finish with some lips. MAC lip pencil in Cork. If you're looking for a perfect brown, you're welcome. And these are not any of the same products by any means, but I'm just trying to replicate the photo. MAC Maximal Matte and Viva Planet on the center of the lip. I'm gonna hit it with some gloss. This is the Armani Prismaglass lip gloss in the shade 05. One Size Cocoa Glow. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that is a wrap. Here is just natural outdoor lighting. I think this is stunning. I honestly might steal this for my next red carpet appearance, okay?